Hey y'all. So, got a lot of things to talk about today. Y'all hold on for a second. Just for a second. Hey. Hey. My lighting. Hi y'all. Hey, peace. I'm trying to fix my lighting, y'all. Hey y'all. I'm trying to fix my lighting. Hold on. Hold on. Uh, uh, uh. Hmm. Hey y'all. Hold on. Peace. How y'all doing? Hiya. I got another background. Oh, I'm getting some light now. See, my light is going from orange to blue. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what's going on, y'all. But long as it stays one or the other. If it's orange, that's fine. If it's blue, that's fine. I don't care. How y'all doing? Hey there. I am super excited. I have so much stuff to talk about. I was having a conversation with someone today, and I was telling them where we're headed. There's a video I left for y'all on AI's potential futures with AI. And I put it in my community page. Y'all should really watch that video. It's so on point. It might be a little scary, but it doesn't have to be. But it shows you the potential realities of where we are really with AI and how there's no going back. right? It's either going to go forward, but it can go into different directions. I'm thinking about like maybe having a screening and we just watch it together. Like maybe on one of my apps, on my new social media app in my browser, we watch it together. So if I get my social media app that's going to be in the browser that I'm launching tomorrow, by the way, the browser launches tomorrow. I'm going to show you a little bit of it today on this. So if I get that up by then we are going to, I will do like a Friday night viewing and watch it together. I think that'd be really cool. It won't be on this, it's going to be in the browser. Okay, so I'll tell you how to access it and all that other stuff. But I don't even want to give it away. But I'll say this. The guy, he couldn't answer where we really are going. He was like, what happens if AI takes over everything and there's nothing left for us to do? Which is not true. We're creators. There's always something left for us to do. That's if you have no faith in humanity. So he's like, we won't have nothing to do. We're just going to be bored. And then when we get bored, we're going to fight and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Where we are headed, y'all, is we are headed to the next level of the game. I want y'all to remember that. You are in a level of a game right now, right? And in this level of the game, you are being played, right? But you are also learning how to play the game while you are being played. So you are characters in a game, but then there's a game that you get to play too, but you're learning the rules, you're learning how to master it, and you're learning how to get to other levels. So they're games within games. It's how reality is. Okay. So what AI is going to do, which is the AI that we built, is it's going to build games at a level of you don't understand. Like right now, you got to build a game, you got to put so much time into it. It's not really super realistic. But in 2 to 3 years, these games are going to be super realistic and immersive, right? So, and it's not going to just be buying games, getting games that other people created. It may start out like that, but eventually you are going to be creating your own experiences, manifesting, right? You're going to be like, I want a game with these characters and da 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 da. And this is the game that the AI is going to generate for you. This is the experience that's going to be generated for you. And you are going to get to go in this game in virtual reality and play the game. And eventually it's going to get more realistic, more intensified, and everything. You know what I mean? The thing is, what we're missing right now to have that experience is the power source. We at the moment are using archaic power sources. We don't have, if we keep on amping up the current power sources that we have, we're going to kill ourselves from the destroying the environment with these power sources, right? So what they're doing right now, and this is how you should know that these people are not as smart as you think that they are. Because if they were smart, they would know that, but either it's not even smart, they just don't care. But they would know that setting up these power sources, like what Elon Musk is doing, he's setting up this Colossus power source, a data center in Memphis, and he's killing the air quality in Memphis. He's killing people, but he doesn't care, right? But eventually, when they see how destructive this is and how what this is doing to our planet now, and is speeding up the destruction, is speeding up our demise, right? So now what you see is It's storms all over. Where did these storms come from all of a sudden? Like this year, this summer already has been more storms than I've ever seen here. Where did they come from? They are the Earth's reaction to these data centers that they're putting out there right now. This is the battle that's going on between Earth, between the other beings that are here, and these technocrats, these tech billionaires. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on, y'all. One second, y'all. So these technocrats, these billionaires are building these data centers, and you are having a bad reaction of the weather. Hold on a second, y'all. You're having a bad reaction of the weather now to this. That is what's happening. Okay? So we've been having storms every day. The pattern has been every day. And let me tell you something. Guess what else they're doing? They're turning off the monitors. They were firing the EPA officials. They fired Doge. That's what they did. And Elon did this, right? In Doge, he went and fired EPA officials. They defunded a lot of the weather organizations, et cetera, that monitor the weather. They did all of this. And the reason that they did this is because they do not want you to be able to see the reaction that is happening with the creation of these data centers that they're putting up right now, utilizing old power methods, archaic power methods. Those are not the proper way. This is not the power that's going to take us to quote unquote AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. It's not going to happen using the power that we're using, because you cannot use these archaic power sources to power these data centers and expand on AI. They have not been given the technology yet. We are going to pretty soon get that technology from the higher beings that have that technology. They are going to give us a new power source to use, but they're not going to give it to them because they're not doing it right, because they know that they're not ethical. They know that they don't care and they're trying to destroy the earth. They're not going to give them that gift. This is Prometheus, Prometheus giving the gift of fire, or whatever the case may be. They're not going to give them that, because if they were going to give it to them, they would have been giving it to them. Why were they not given the right power source to be able to throw up these data centers? Because they know that how destructive they are. They know that these people do not care and they're power hungry. And they're not going to give it to power hungry people so that they could turn on these things, and then they can go interdimensional, interplanetary, and create wars that extend beyond our dimension. So they're not being allowed to have this power, but this power is coming. These power sources is coming. The power source that we're going to be able to use, that's going to power the future, that's literally going to make it so AI can create worlds in real time, virtual worlds in real time. That is going to be done by a coming power source that we're going to have. Until then, we don't have that power source. So it could be a year, it could be 2 years, but they are going to see the folly, and you're going to see the folly of their so-called intelligence. What you're going to learn in the age of intelligence is that they're not really as intelligent as you think that they are. And the reason being is because of their insanity, their own insanity and greed, and the drive to do whatever it takes, no matter who it harms. You're going to see that that is not in karmic alignment with our advancement into the future. You're going to see the spell is going to be broken. So, so if you want to know where we was headed, that's where we was headed. Hey, y'all. So I was going to touch on the big ugly bill. I talked about that in my live, which is one of the most ridiculous things in the world. Again, the government has been turned into reality TV. You know what I mean? And reality TV is how entertaining we could be so that we could be distracting. And what are you being distracted from? You're being distracted from utilizing this energy, capitalizing off of this energy so that you could build communities for yourself, so that you could become self-sufficient and self-sovereign individuals like you deserve to be, like you desire to be, but you're really not, because you're really still slaves and you desire freedom, and the tools to give you freedom are here. So, but again, so you don't focus on those things and you focus on the archaic systems that are going out, they do dumb shit like this. They do dumb shit like this because I find it like really dumb. Like, now, don't get me wrong, the Diddy trial is not a distraction. I'm going to tell you why. The Diddy trial is a lesson. It's a lesson for you Black folks. Yes, it is definitely a lesson for you Black folks. I include myself, and we'll talk about that. But what is a distraction is this political theater that's going on. That's a distraction. How do you know it's a distraction? Because there's no real progress that's coming out of it for you. It's not. So it's a distraction. The Democrats are sitting there with their hands tied like this. We can't do anything. The Senate, they're sitting here writing 1,000-page bills using AI, obviously, because that's why they can all of a sudden come up with a 1,000-page bill, because they're using AI to write that shit. But I don't understand why they're not using AI to read it. Why are the Democrats not using AI to decipher it, take it apart, and then give it to their constituents in an easier way to stomach it, right? No, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. So, no, they're not getting karma for destroying Mother Nature, because Mother Nature cannot be destroyed. Mother Nature can only be annoyed. And when she gets annoyed, she does what people who get annoyed does. She gets crabby and she starts doing things, but she cannot be destroyed. Their karma comes from deeper things. Their karma comes from things, from the things that they're doing and enacting to people. That's where their karma comes from. We have to start thinking of ourselves as the main character. You know what I mean? We're the main character in karma, not Mother Nature. We are humans. I don't even know why my chair is bouncing so much in the camera, but we are the main characters, right? So when you're talking about karma and the laws of laws of cause and effect, these higher beings don't care about that. Because we are here to learn consequences, the consequences of humanity and inhumanity. We're here to learn the consequences, not them. You know what I mean? So, but this political theater, there are no winners. There are no winners in this whole bill thing. Not a winner. Because no matter what, they're not going to let you win in that area. The only thing they can do is spark revolution. Throw the whole thing out, change it. If you can't throw it out of your head, throw it out of your community and build something new in your community. Use this power and this magic that you have, and all this mouth that you have, and all this ego that you have to build something, to build community, to build structures, to build foundations, to build all of these things that you say we need. Do it. That's what it's saying. Turn off the TV and go do some shit. Go create some shit. Go make some shit. We're moving out of the age of Pisces, but we're at the end of the age of Pisces. Some have said, I've seen where they said that we're in the first decan of the Aquarian age, right? Which I've heard is a weaker age. Like, it's a weaker age. I was watching an astrology thing, and he was talking about how the ages overlap. So we're in the end of the Pisces, but it's a maximum. It's a Pisces maximum. And it makes so much sense because we got these evangelical Christians trying to run the country. I came out of court this morning and there was a setup for free Bible lessons. You know what I mean? So now, and they're talking about putting that in the schools and teaching that to the kids and all of that. So it's the evangelicals and the Christians. And then we're in the middle of a holy war. So this is all Piscean stuff. You know what I mean? Just because we've entered the Aquarian age doesn't mean that we're in full-fledged Aquarian mode. This is where Aquarians get challenged so that they can get great, not just be great, so they can gather their greatness together. This is baby Aquarian age. This is the baby Aquarians. So we're struggling right now to gain ground, but the future supports us. And if we can tap into the future, then we can bring the future to the current. We have to get out of all of this and build the future that we see. Tap into the future and build the future that we see. So that's what we have to do. And guess what? The Aquarian age favors women. And I'm not saying that that's not nothing bad for men, but there are ages that favor men too. There are ages that favor men, and there are ages that favor women. You know what I mean? Hold on, y'all. I want to show y'all something. There was something that they brought up that was very interesting, to say the least. And hold on, y'all. I'm pulling up something for y'all. Hold on. Right. So he was mentioning, he said that the ages go backwards, right? So you enter each age from the last decan. And he mentioned, I have to find his name. He's an astrologer. I gotta find his name. I'm not good at names. That's my Pisces rising. But he said that you enter the ages in the last through the last decan, and he mentioned that if we're coming into Aquarius and we're entering through the last decan, that means we're in the Libra decan of Aquarius, ruled by Venus. So that makes a lot of sense because if you look around, most of the leaders that have been in position or coming into position now are Libras. You know what I mean? So what's his name that's running for mayor in New York? What is he, y'all? I forgot his name. I need to start making lists of names because that's what I suck with all of my Piscean energy. Zoran. This is how's his name pronounced? Mamdani. I just call him Mamdani. Right, Mamdani. He's a Libra. Kamala. She's a Libra. So this is making lots of sense. Lots of sense. So the people who are coming up, and then you even had her vice president, right? What's his name? Was it from Missouri? He was a two of spades. A two of spades is a very Libra card. You might not be a Libra, but if you're a two of spades, you got some heavy Libra. We had a few candidates that were two of spades. JD Vance is a Libra. What is JD Vance? I know he's a Jack of Diamonds. JD Vance sign. I say JD Vance sign, and they literally put up JD Vance a sign. Let's look up Zodiac, y'all. He's a Leo. He's a Leo. But we had, again, I'm seeing Libra leaders. You know what I mean? And that would make sense if we're in the Libra decan of Aquarius, which is the last decan of Aquarius. That would make a lot of sense. But that also means what? That also means more than just social, but learning how to work together. That is the skill. That is the superpower of Libra. The superpower of Libra is learning how to work together with others so that you can build a society. This is balance. It brings together the elements of law and order, which is the Saturn part. And you could say that Libra has a lot of Saturn. It has Venus, but it also has Saturn. So because we're talking about balance, that's why it's the symbol is the scales, right? So things have to be brought into balance in order for the fullest expression of Aquarius to occur. Things have to be brought into balance, right? Because you can't just work with other people on an egalitarian basis if you don't bring things into balance. Like there's not true equality there. If there's inequality, it's always going to be problems, right? So a lot of what we're fighting for right now, right, is what? Equality. Equality. That's what we're fighting. That's what the battle is. Equality. We're learning about equality. We're learning now. I mean, we already know, Black folks already know there is no equality in this country. But immigrants do not know. Like immigrants from Latin America obviously don't know how equality and inequality works here, right? Because if you're coming from a place where the struggles are real, right? And you come here and you feel like you're getting more, and there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of people who come here and they elevate to a new status and level, and they don't tell the truth to the people back home. They don't. You got people here that talk to the people back home, and they have the people back home thinking that Donald Trump, quote unquote, is a great person. They do. That he is a great person. And they don't tell the truth back home. They don't tell the truth to those back home. And there's a lot of that going on, right? So that furthers the inequality. This is not supposed to be a place ultimately of inequality. That is the reason why people come from all over. That's why it's a melting pot. They leave places that have inequality, and they're supposed to come here and build a place that you learn how to work with others. Despite who they are, what they are, you learn how to work with them. But in order to be able to work with others who are different, you have to have transparency. That's what we're working towards. We're working towards transparency, because we had Hollywood. We were living under the spell of Hollywood for so long. And the spell of Hollywood was not transparency. It hid reality and it created a vision that was not true of what reality is. Now we're entering the age of reality. That's why we had reality shows. Then we had social media first. Then we had reality shows. So it's all about dispelling the myth of Pisces now and coming to reality, the age of enlightenment and awaken and realizing the truth. And the truth is that you were never meant to be equal here. Those rules in the Constitution were written for someone else. Those protections were crafted with other people in mind. But the universe superseded it and said that we want this Constitution, but we want it to apply for everybody. They wrote it on paper, they committed to Saturn, and they could not really control the contract that they made with the universe. The contract that they made with the universe was now going to be interpreted by anybody. So other people were going to walk in and say, well, this is what it means, because you're going to have interpretation from the Supreme Court. You're going to have people who are going to fight and say, this is what this means. This is what the interpretation is. And the interpretation was going to change over time because the demographics were going to change. The people were going to change. So the interpretations were going to broaden because the people are broadening. The people are awakening. That's why they don't like woke. They don't want you to be woke. So now we get to say, well, fine. We didn't write that with you anyway. We're going to write something else. That's what we get to do now. Now, anytime somebody breaks the rules and breaks the laws to the point where those laws have to be thrown out, you can now implement your own laws. That is what you can do. You can now implement your own laws. You can get your community together, decide how you are going to interact with each other and interact with others, and create your whole framework of laws. That is now why we have blockchain and we have DAOs. We have decentralized autonomous organizations now that can be utilized on blockchains that can give us the fullest transparency of our voting and our laws. Aside from that, Indigenous people, people of color, Black folks, we are some law-having people. And we get to realize and find that out now. We get to see how good we are at really laying down laws and upholding them. We get to see that. This is our opportunity to shine. There's no need to be afraid because you think law or issuing law or protecting the law only belongs to these people. You get to see how good you are at it and how fair you are. Women too. Women get to see how great they are at lawmakers and laying down the law. They get to see that. They get to find that as well. Libra, law, Venus, women. We get to see how fair and balanced we can be. So it's not necessarily a bad time. Yes, it gets on your nerves. It shakes you up. It shook me up. I didn't want it like this. I would have preferred to have it in a more civilized fashion. But a lot of y'all ain't civilized, and that's reality. The reality of it is a lot of you are not civilized. We have societies that are a mixture of people by nature who are either civilized or barbaric. And barbaric is not to say that you are below anybody. This is your genetics. This is how you operate. This is from the extra dimensional genetics that you have that make you up into who you are. Your method of reasoning and your method of running society, your method of operation in society is barbaric. Period. And then you have people who their method is different. So now we get to come to a time to understand that our differences are bigger than just our skin colors. Our differences are bigger than just our tribes. Our differences are down to the genetics. And we get to see the genetics now. We get to map the genetics. We even get to delete genetics if we want to, or grow new ones. Because we're getting ready to arrive to the next level of the game. But they have already started doing gene editing. They've already done that. They're already learning that. Everybody is not the same. We've attempted to homogenize people rather than recognize people for who they are and work with them on those terms. And I think that this is part of what even the Diddy thing is about. I'm gonna talk about the Diddy thing. This Diddy thing and how this Diddy thing is a lesson, right? It's a lesson of what happens when you cannot accept yourself and the levels you will go through to not let that get out in the public, that image, right? But when the spell is broken, you're freed now, right? You're freed. So now you don't necessarily have to feel guilty and drink and drug it away. Now you don't have to feel guilty and beat up somebody else because of how you are in hopes that it won't get out and create this whole secret society around yourself just to protect you or protect yourself from your inferiors that you have judged to be your inferiors from being exposed. It's an age old thing. You have these Republicans, and amongst the Republican Party, you have more people who are closeted, more Republican men, Christian nationalists, whatever, who are closeted queer, who are closeted addicts, who are closeted alcoholics. And not to say queer is a bad thing, but they are closeted. It's a lot of them that are closeted. And when people don't want you to know because they think that is evil, because that's how they were brought up, that's how their parents have them trained, that's how churches have them trained. So they think these things are evil, but yet they are these things. They will do things to make other people suffer. There is no hell. Not no more hell than there is hell on earth. You dispel that myth and you will live a lot happier. Nobody's going to a hell fire bed unless that is the reality that they create for themselves in their head. That is the world, that is the game that they create for themselves. Then they are had hell. I'm pretty sure he's had more hell on earth than he could ever have after death. Just because people have money does not mean they're not suffering. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He has money. This man has a 24-hour diaper that he can't keep change. It doesn't mean he's not suffering. And that is our problem. We look at people with money, we look at people with so-called success, and we use that as the gauge to say that they're happy and that when they die, it's going to be worse. It can't be no worse than what they're going through right now. I promise you. I promise you that the hell that they experience on earth, from the abuse that they probably experience, from the fallout of the things they do, and from the diseases that they have that are connected to the things, to the shame that they have, are that the things that they're doing. These people have their share of hell on earth. For real. From the fear of being exposed, the fear of being humiliated, the fear of being shamed. That fear in as of itself is greater than any other fear, because that is the fear that creates disease. The fear of being humiliated. See, everyone has their core makeup, just why you have your cardology. So that's why for some people, that might not be a problem, but for other people, it could be the biggest problem. But other people, there's people who are very transparent. And even the people that are transparent, if they love who they love, if they love to see threesomes and quadsomes and whatever, they're telling the whole world on the mountaintop. And there are other people that cannot disclose that information or will not disclose that information. So everybody has the things that they feel most judged on, and it's usually connected to their childhood. When I see people like this, I can only imagine some of the hellish conditions they've been through to have that type of energy follow them into adulthood. Because you got to understand, it's an energy. It's an energy. It's a doorway. It's a doorway that's been open. It's energy that has come in. It's interdimensional energy that walks with you. Interdimensional entities that descend in your life and create chaos. And then you have to build this life to keep it contained, because they don't seem to be going away, because you don't get the proper help. Yeah, it's hell. He is a three of diamonds, just like Trump. So I think, to me, that was a clear indication that he probably was not going to get much punishment. He'll get a little more because, yes, he is black, right? And black, nine of diamonds, king of clubs, and Mars, we get it worse. Do you know why we get it worse? Because we are the keepers of the law, believe it or not. We do know law and order. Just because somebody has more crime in their communities, it's usually the place that you have the most of, that they're the best at that. But you know that they're operating on the lower frequency of it. So all of that lawlessness that we have in our community is a testimony of how lawful we could be. We have a king of clubs in Mars. That is morality, character. But sometimes we got to be reminded of that. And guess how that reminder comes? It comes from suffering. Feel. The king of clubs must feel. It has a queen of hearts and Pluto. Cannot be told. You must feel. You must feel, and you must feel it deeply to change. Some people, no matter how much you tell them something, they're not going to change. They must absorb the change. They must absorb the memories of it. And the memories go into their genetics, their DNA. They have those memories, and then those memories turn into fear triggers. That's why you fear technology. That's why you fear 5G. You fear that because you had it. You fear that. You fear that Atlantean shit. You fear that we're going to blow up the world if we do that. No, we can't do that. That's bad. Then you get together, start chattering amongst each other, like psychic chatter all amongst the community of how bad that is. And you go about your business and you try to stay far away from it. It just so happens that some of us are very mixed. So we mixed with a little bit of the other side who ain't scared of shit because they ain't experienced it. They want to experience it. They want them heights of craziness. They want to experience it because they're like, whoa, Atlantis is wow. Let's bring it back. They want to experience it. Us, on the other hand, who dealt with the destruction of it or who were there when it ended, have that eternal fear in our souls of elevating to that level again. Now we just want to be simple creatures without technology. And that's not the way to be, but that's what fear and trauma does. So you were born here to mix with others who are not afraid of that. And so you could take it to the next level. So now you and I and others, we all one big melting pot of genetics. And we get to participate in the experiment of transmuting that fear and creating another reality that utilizes the power we had then, now. So, Diddy, I was saying that of course, he's not going to get that much time. If he does get time, I mean, if they give him some time, he's probably going to get house arrest, maybe. Maybe they'll put him under surveillance and he have to wear ankle bracelet. He needs more. He's going to get more cosmic shame in some way. The cosmic shame does not end with this. So there's still more cosmic shame coming, but he has to have an opportunity to utilize his financial superpowers to do something good with them and to pay off the debt, to repay the financial debt he has. You will not go to jail or get locked away for a long time if you have a lot of financial debt to others. Financial debt is karma. That's some of the biggest karma there is. You have to. If anybody has a six of diamonds or is a six of diamonds, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know how that feels. I'm a six of diamonds right now. I have financial debt. That shit plagues you. Plagues you. I don't care if you owe somebody, you will never forget that. If that person has a six of diamonds and they owe you, they have not forgotten. They may not have it, but they have not forgotten. They cannot sleep at peace. They're constantly trying to figure out ways to pay their debts, to pay the people they owe. your mom's a six of diamonds. She constantly says she owes me, but doesn't have any money. Yeah, that's how it be. Because, we're supposed to utilize that spiritual power we have. Six is about purpose. So you don't just get shit without exercising your purpose, like your purpose. So you have to know your purpose to get paid when you're a six. When you're a six of diamonds, you get no check unless you know what your purpose is at this moment, in this year, in this 7-year cycle in your life. Or if you happen to go into a year where you have a six of diamonds and you are not living your purpose, that will be the toughest time financial you will have. But you're going to have chock full of debt that you owe, because that debt is going to be motivating to you. You're going to be motivated to get in alignment with faith, to get in alignment with your purpose, and manifest that real money. There's nothing more, is no bigger fire under the ass of a six of diamonds or a person with a six of diamonds than debt. It's going to bring great things out of them. You know what I mean? So some people, they have that kind of karma. Why do you think Donald Trump is in office grifting? This man has started so many schemes to raise money. What is he raising money for? The afterlife? He's afraid, and he owes a lot of people. He got to keep other people paid. I guarantee you, he owed people. You don't act like that. Y'all should be, if y'all street people, if you black folks, you should know. Don't nobody act like that about money unless they owe somebody. You don't owe nobody. You vacationing. You ain't whatever. And if he don't owe nobody, he got people around him that owe people, and they using him to grift. So there's plenty of debt in that circle. And this is a time of debt, y'all. This is a time that America is in debt. This is a time America was supposed to be paying reparations. But the problem was, y'all wasn't working hard enough to collect them. It's not like it's going to go away. It still needs to be paid. But y'all were not doing enough to collect the reparations owed you. You didn't believe you were worth it. You didn't believe that anybody was going to pay it. So it lulled you into complacency about it. I can't make everybody want it like I want it. This is a collective thing. This ain't just a me thing, because I'm going to get mine some way. I'm going to get mine. And you got people getting theirs. But this could have been a collective effort of getting yours. Could have been collective. It still could be. So speaking of collective, y'all, I want to show y'all my new browser. I am trying to push a new release. I had a working release on my other computer. I'm on another computer that I don't have the working release on. So give me a second. I was cooking up this release. So speaking of fuck them, let's make our own world, yet another Aquarius Maximus production is making our own world. Why not make our own browser? Do you know that the web browser is the gateway to everything on the internet? If you ask somebody, what is the gateway to everything? They can't answer that question. Not too many people would answer that question right. I want you to go home and ask somebody in your house, what is the gateway to everything in the internet? And let me know if they answer that question right. The answer is the web browser. Okay? The web browser is the gateway to everything in the internet. We wouldn't have a Google if it hadn't been for the web browser. We wouldn't have a Facebook if it hadn't been for the web browser, because guess what? Facebook didn't start as an app. Facebook didn't have an app. Facebook invented a whole language, which was React, right? They invented a whole way of taking a web app and making it into a mobile app without having to do everything or build something from scratch. That's what they did. They took a shortcut to creating an app. So the app that you've had most of the time when you had Facebook was really just the web stuff in a wrapper. So, which is why I now prefer to do my apps as a web app. Somehow my AI was sitting here recording everything I was saying because I pushed the what's the name, y'all. That's so crazy. It was taking notes of what I was saying. But most apps now, because they followed behind Facebook, and it was like bump making an app from scratch. Like back in the days, people used to make apps from Java and all of these other things because Android is built on Java. And apps were made the hard way, the difficult way. And then they was like, bump it. We will make it like a website and we'll just put a wrapper on it and then we'll put it in an app store. So we can make money off of apps. But now developers are realizing that they're going backwards now. They're like, why don't we just make web apps? For what purpose do we have to be in your app store now? Especially if we have our own audiences and we just tell our audience, because now people are like, well, everybody has a phone, so they can buy this or whatever. And what they really want to do is they want to tap into Apple billing, because you know how Apple billing is. You can't download nothing else if you ain't paid for something you were supposed to pay for. You can't download another app, even if it's free, right? So they got y'all caught up in that stuff. So let me download. I hope this version is working. I have like I said, I have a working version on my laptop, but I want to open this up so I can show it to you. So let's see if this is a working version, y'all. Let's see. If not, I may have to show you my dev version. Nope, this is not a working version. So I have to show you my dev version. I know what I have to do. I have to sign it. So I'm going to show y'all my dev version. But I always like to end these sessions showing y'all what I'm doing, because people don't believe me when I tell them I be working and doing shit. I like to show y'all teases and stuff that I'm working on, but I be wanting y'all to know I'm really doing some shit, y'all. Forget about all these people that are commenting on the state of the world. Aquarius Maximus is trying to change the world, at least for us. So let's see. I'm going to open up the development version and so let's open up the dev version here. And I'm going to share my screen. So this is the browser. This is everything black. And I have built into it Web3. So we have Web3, which is your wallet stuff. This is the Guap wallet stuff. I'll talk about that. I have an AI assistant built into it as well. So we got our own little quote unquote chat GPT, but our AI assistant, which is free for now. I'm hoping that doesn't get too extraordinarily expensive, but it's okay. And we are going to be launching our own version of YouTube in here called EBTV. What EBTV will be ultimately being or becoming is a decentralized version of YouTube, like video streaming. So essentially, what that means is that um, you own your content and no one can just snatch your content down. Now I am working on some safeguards because in the browser, I'm working against um, making sure that it's safe for kids. So that means that keeping the trying to keep off pornography. If you want pornography, you can use another browser for that. This isn't a porn browser. And stuff like that, because it makes me really angry. I remember recently I had some guy join one of my social networks and he set up a page, and this is a brother, and I'm like, you got mental illness going on. He sets up a page and it's full of porn. Then literally he sends me porn in an inbox. I was mad as fuck. I was so mad. So that type of anger made me like, look, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure that this browser keeps porn free. Like I said, if you want to watch porn, you can go back to videos on your computer, but I'm gonna make sure it stays porn free because to me, it almost feels like sexual assault when you send that shit to me unwarrantedly and I didn't ask you for it. The fuck, you know what I mean? Like really, like what the fuck? Like that's so annoying. And, I had to go and find this person and block him on everything that I had, and people do stuff like that. It's border, it's the same energy as trolling. Trolling, bullying, doing that, all of that. It's assault. You know what I mean? And you have a problem. And I feel bad that you have a problem. Whatever happened to you, but I didn't do it. So I don't want to partake in it. So I want to make sure that my kids don't get up here and you find your way to my kids and be sending some shit to my kids because I, I if I made the laws, it wouldn't be good for you if you did that. Put it to you like that. But I want to make sure that people are protected and that I don't facilitate these things. It is not my intention to facilitate these things. It's my intention to facilitate access to knowledge, community, all of these good stuff. And if that's not enough to keep you stimulated and is boring to you, then bye bye. I will even have VR in here. We're working on creating our own VR in here. So we have VR worlds and all that other stuff. All of that's going to be in here. But you know what? I was working on a VR thing to put in here. I was like, there's no reason for me to delay the launch of this for yet another thing. This is enough. A lot of times we feel like we ain't enough, and we are. So we got to start somewhere. So what I am doing though is I'm loading it right now with Black-owned businesses. I got my agent finding all the Black businesses it could find just to throw in the search engine. And then if you have a Black business, you'll be able to go to the website and add yourself, the Everything Black website, add yourself for free. If you want to be a premium business, that means featured on the homepage, or you want to have a premium listing, then you could get a premium subscription and pay for those things because none of this is free. And I always find myself getting to a point where I do all that I can and then the bills pile up. You know what I mean? Like I've done this. I've started a social media platform. We had streaming. I turned on the streaming and my bills like, whoo, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I need some money, So I always find myself at that point. So, but this time I handled that. I said, well, this is what we need to do. There are people who can afford it. You can have premium placement in the browser. And we're not necessarily inundating people with advertisements and stuff. So the Web3, how that works is you'll create a wallet in here. It's going to be a Guap wallet. I already have a wallet here. Hold on. So I already have a wallet in here. So I just logged in. This is my wallet. And I have Guap here. But I also have something called wrapped Guap here. So all of that will be explained in other videos. Wrapped Guap is our other Guap if you want to send it on this network. So you'll have to use Wrapped Guap, and there'll be things that'll allow you to be able to do that. But you have your transaction history and all of that. So I'm connected to the network, and I can also send transactions from here. But why this is super important is there will be websites that can interact with your wallet. Right? So I'm going to go to, now this website isn't live yet, but it is. So if you go there, it ain't live, especially if you don't have any guap, but it will be. But everything black.xyz. So this is the big thing of it. And that is us having our own Web3 identities, our own domains. So right now we're launching with 2 domains. We're launching with .guap and we're launching with .hbcu. Why .hbcu? I thought .hbcu was so us. It belongs to us. We should have it. You know what I mean? We're going to be creating other TLDs, and we're going to also give people the opportunity to have their own TLD. If they want to pay for their own domain extension, they can contact us and we can give them a domain extension that they can have, that they can also sell. Let me see if I have domains already. So I already have some domains that I created. This is sheinteractive.guap. So what happens when you create a domain, it gives you an NFT. There are other reasons for NFTs. So don't listen to people when it comes to NFTs and they're like, well, they serve no purpose. Oh no, this is the real purpose. That other stuff was just to build a hype around NFTs. But the real purpose is things like identity, ownership, stuff like that. These are things that you can mint on the blockchain, and they basically will, say that this is the thing that you own. Well, now these are the domains that you own. So when you come here and you do a domain, it'll show you like all of the domains that you own. And I got to take this share on X. I did not want that. I'm just going to be sharing something else. Y'all know I don't mess with X like that. But you can download the NFT, or you can transfer the domain. So if you want to buy a domain for someone else, you can buy it and you can transfer it to somebody else, and it'll be in their wallet. So you can sit here and buy domains for them. Right now, you buy it with Guap, but I do have a way where you can take and you can get Guap using Stripe and stuff like that. And I'll show you that. If you don't have Guap, you can get it. But you can manage your domain records. Oh, we got an error there. This is not the latest version of the software, y'all. So I had to fix that. But you can view on Explorer. You click that. Let me see. Can y'all see this window that just opened? No, I'm not sharing the window that opened. But I'm gonna type it in here. A new window opened that's not sharing. So let me do it like this. So when you click that, a new window pops up and it shows you that your domain is on the blockchain for real. So this is the blockchain. This is what's called a block explorer. And this is the data that's written to the blockchain. So it tells you the name. It does not say your name, right? Because none of this is done off of your name, is done off your wallet. Right? But this is the domain that was created, and you are the owner. Whatever wallet is sitting in, that is the owner of that domain. Now, the thing about also the difference between that domain and traditional domains is that this is forever. Once you buy that, you never have to pay again. So it's not like what do you call it? Now, unless you buy a domain from someone, And we will be launching a marketplace for people who want to resell domains. So you could sit here and buy up all the good domains except for celebrity and brands. You can't do that. Only brands and celebrities, they have to prove who they are, because I'm not going through all the legal hoo-ha over those things. If we miss one, okay. But we're trying to make sure we have all the brands in there and protected status. So if you're not, that brand is not yours, you won't be able to buy it unless somebody resells it to you that has it. But the next thing we will be launching is a marketplace. So you can sit here and buy domains, buy up all of the great domains that you can think of, and you can resell them. If you resell a domain, then you can sell it and you can still maintain royalties. So let's say you have a really great domain and somebody wants to buy it. They buy it from you. You still have royalties in case they sell that domain later on, or whatever the case may be. You will have some royalty in that NFT. And that's another great thing about NFTs. It's like the gift that keeps giving. You can have royalties with NFTs. We're doing something similar when it comes to voices and singing and AI music. So, yeah. So, one of the things we will be releasing is a way that you can create your own website and your web page and have and utilize your domain name using AI. So you can throw something up really quick that's going to be there when they type in your domain name. Another thing about that is when you own a domain name like this, somebody you can use that for somebody to actually send you coins to this name. So they don't have to remember your address. If you know anything about crypto addresses, real addresses could be just a long string of numbers. But now they'll be able to send you funds straight to your name, similar to like almost like a Cash App kind of thing. So, and it could send other things that are going to be sent as well. So we have that. And because we have an import token feature, we also are launching a feature where people could create their own tokens and meme coins. So they'll be able to import their token in here and use it as well. So if you create your own meme coin and you want to be able to use it, or you want other people to use it, they could still use this built-in browser wallet to be able to do that. We also want to launch a feature that rewards you, that you earn tokens for utilizing the browser. So it's like if you utilize the browser for a certain amount of hours a day, it's going to track your clicks, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and you can earn a certain amount of tokens that could be utilized and as like savings or ways, rewards or something like that, so that you can use within the EB browser. So that would be an EB token that's going to be launched as well. That's going to be built into the browser. That's going to reward you for using the browser. There is a sister who is working on an Afro Wiki, which is a Black Wiki, which is like a Wikipedia. It's going to have a lot of our information in there. And so she's working on that. That's coming with the launch as well. And yeah, so this is some of the stuff, y'all. This is the browser. This is the EB browser. We'll also be providing the code if you have your own website and you want to have a wallet connect for the EB browser. Then we'll have some copy and paste code and tutorials and instructions for you to implement it in your website or whatever, so people can use EB in your website, or they can use some of the crypto that we have, Guap, whatever, in the website to make payments on your website, on your page as well. So voila, we got a lot of plans for in the future. We do have some help here and some documentation. This is some of the documentation here. Tells you how to create a wallet and all that other stuff. Do you plan on everybody can use it, but just note, just like everybody listens to hip hop. You know what I mean? Just note that we're centered on Black culture, you know? So we're centered on giving a safe place for Black culture. Just like anybody can go to the African American Museum in DC. Anybody can use this if you want to see really, really, see some history, see what's going on in the community, enjoy some of the content creators in our community. I want everybody to use it. But I want it to be a safe place for us. I want it to be a place where we teach you how to create things that can't be taken down. They're trying to take our history out of schools. They're trying to erase us. No, ma'am. No, sir. You won't be able to erase us because we got to make sure we write that shit on the blockchain. That's what this is all about. And because people don't know about blockchain like that, and they really don't know about the power of it, you almost like you gotta present it in a transparent way to us. You know what I mean? Like in a way, well, here it is. Some, granny might not want to know too much about blockchain, but she's gonna love the fact that this is a black browser and we could use it and the kids could use it. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody else is coming. Absolutely. Even the brands gonna want to advertise it. Everybody's coming, you know. But I want it to be a place where we can monitor information. There's a one stop place. You know what I mean? So if you need to report something that's not true, I want to have a place where you can report something that's not true. Like I want to have fact checking going on. We have people, they have their own platforms and they post so much misinformation about us and that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I want a place where we can thwart that, and we can only thwart that in our own spaces. We can't tell them what to not post and what to not propagate about us and all of that. Plus, they're letting AI is going to totally take over their content. You know what I mean? Guess what? When it comes to content, we are AI. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to content, we are AI. We are constantly, we can create a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So if we can create stuff on our platforms where we own and we say we own this is where I own it, it's on the blockchain, you're using it, pay me, you know what I mean? Or will we bring up brands and say, well, we're not going to support this brand because they're not supporting these creators, but they're taking this stuff, then that's fine. And you're not going to be blackfishing us in some bad, weird ass situations in your content. You know what I mean? Because now they're using AI to blackfish us. They got these guerrilla people, they got this, they got that. They can do this. And I've been in the internet long enough to know when certain things are done to maliciously to enact their malicious racism. They do these things. And we will share it and we will think it's harmless as hell. Well, it's not gonna be none of that harmless as hell thing here, and not on my watch. I eventually want to start a DAO for everything Black. I don't want to be the only one voting on things and stuff like that. I want the community to have a say and to vote on things, whether or not yay or nay they stay, or they go. And that's one of the powerful things you can do in a DAO. I'm willing to give up and distribute my power like that. I don't care about having power like that. I want to go camping in the middle of the the woods. I want us to go swimming. I want to go do things like that. I don't care about sitting here playing God or goddess on the internet. I've been there and done that. I've ran social platforms that had thousands of people. I moderated social platforms that had millions of people. I don't want to do that. Like I want, other people to do that. I just want to build it because I'm able to build it, and I like people to step in and do their thing. You know what I mean? Like, do your thing, moderate, admin, whatever. Let's all do this together. So that's where I am. When you got people that create stuff and they just want to play God like that, be like the Elon Musk on X and all this other stuff. That is not my intention. I'm trying to retire, y'all, for real. I have a 6 of diamonds in Jupiter. I am never going to sell this. Selling this to a big corporation is the equivalent of selling my shrines and my ancestors to a big corporation. I don't do those things. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is never going to be sold to a big corporation. No, no. Now, are they going to be able to see things? Guess what? They're going to see a lot of things on the blockchain, but they can't. This is pseudo anonymous data. You know what I mean? Who does it belong to? There's going to come a time where you can't be on their platforms posting anything because they're about to put you on the hate list and they're going to make your movements restricted, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that just because of what you said on social media, right? So bump that. We have a safe space. You come over here. Once you establish on some of our social media platforms, you're going to have to go through a KYC just to make sure you're a real person, right? Yes. So this is the social media platform that I'm putting out. You're going to have to prove you're a real person, because how am I going to say that this place ain't just full of bots doing crazy shit if I didn't prove people were real people? That's why we have KYC. You know what I mean? We need to have our own credit system. Years ago, I conceptualized a platform where you build a credit system based off of who you know and have people vouch for you, right? I still want to do that. I want to do that platform where people can vouch for you and other people can be your quote unquote your credit, because it's not to say that you committed a crime and you went to jail or something like that. If people can vouch for you that you have changed your life and you ain't out here trying to create a lot of trouble for people, really, we just want to make sure you're not out here creating trouble on the internet. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not out here. Your purpose is not here to come here to create trouble. That's it. That's all we want to know. I don't care what else you do. You're not here to create trouble. You're not here to go after people, to troll people, to find children. You can go find people. You can go rob their house. You're not out here to do any of those things. That's what we're hoping to keep safe, to keep people safe. You know what I mean? Because that's our responsibility as platform builders, is to make sure that we do everything within our power. And we're not foolproof, but we do everything in our power to keep you safe. That's what I ask the ancestors and everything. Could we do everything in our power to just create this safe space for people? That's it. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what gender persuasion you are. I don't care what orientation you are. I don't care about any of that. As long as you're here to just be a human being, that's it. Because I've survived decades without having to troll people. And I now have anonymous accounts to attack people, not to blah, blah, blah. I've survived that long, and I've spent way more hours on the internet because I'm a developer and that's my job every day. I've spent way more hours than you. And if I have not had to do it, there is no reason that you have to do it. You need to see a therapist if that's something you have to do. Period. You have to troll and attack people. So that's just what I'm hoping that we don't have to do. I hope that we could be civilized. I actually know we can be. So don't get thrown in internet jail and browser jail and EB. Maybe that's somebody to create browser jail. I don't know. You know, to say Facebook jail. But I hope we don't even have to do any of that. But anyway, let's keep some good stuff for us. Let's do it. And a lot of times I know people will say it'll be other people and all that, but guess what? It'll be other people that started. It'll be us that grow it. We may not start it, but we'll grow it. You know what I mean? So let's not grow it. So anyway, y'all, spread the word about EB. Tomorrow, I'll probably do a live. I'll post the download links because I got to do some videos. I got to go through how to do this and how to do that, and how to set up your wallet and what you can do with it. And tomorrow, I'll also airdrop some guap so that you can get some domain names. That's what I'm going to do. So if you want to buy your own .guap domain name, or if you want to get your .hbcu name, then, who's ever watching my live that day, tomorrow, then you will get the guap coin to be able to do it and get your domain, your first domain name. Okay, y'all? So thank y'all. Thank y'all for supporting me as usual. Love y'all. It's what I do out of love. Peace.